Honorable colleagues, Ahmed Jaha is my name. Chibok, Damboa Goza Federal Constituency is where I represent.
The service chiefs are out of idea. We thank them, they have done their best. When they came in, they came with strength, they came with vigor, they came with commitment to end this thing. But now they are full of complacency and they are out of idea completely. We know this and we are aware they are out of idea.
Seriously, in this country, Mr. Speaker, what I observe, SSS are not doing their job. Because if bandits are coming from the forest to come inside the town, SSS is supposed to detect them and inform the military and police. The problem is, these people are coming, Mr. Speaker, from the forest. And sometimes information will reach to the security. But these people will still come, spend hours in a village. Hours, not minutes. Killing people, burning houses. They will even relax there. And then they go. Then later on, security will go and begin carry cops. So seriously, Mr. Speaker, what I observe is the security, as they said, is embarrassed to the Nigerian security. It's embarrassment to the Nigerian security that a state governor are negotiating with the criminal to bring peace in his state because the security cannot tackle that thing. He has to beg them to stop killing his people. He even promised to give them money. Wow.
Mr. Speaker, fortunately, still I'm not dead, and I'm being vindicated by the Nigerians and this hollow chamber. The other time I said, without fear of any contradiction, that substantial part of my constituency is still under the occupation of Boko Haram. I equally went further to say that substantial part of northern Borno from my state is still under the occupation of Boko Haram. Substantial part of areas occupied by Boko Haram in the Hitatop point is still under the occupation of Boko Haram. I still maintain my position. And I will move as an amendment to this motion, calling on the immediate replacement of the service chiefs in Nigeria. I know tomorrow some people can come for me, but I am calling on the immediate replacement, solely removal of all the service chiefs and their immediate replacement with the competent ones. Because the truth of the matter is known to all Nigerians. They have overstayed. And all courses under them are not stimulated to work. They are not stimulated to perform. They are not stimulated to end this war. Mr. Speaker, this is my position.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Security Africa. There have been calls from many Nigerians for the sack of service chiefs because the security situation is getting worse by the day. But can the sacking of the service chiefs solve the security challenges in Nigeria? This is because the security challenges facing Nigeria are far beyond the sacking of service chiefs. So, if sacking the service chiefs is not the problem, then what is the problem? Coming up next. Welcome back. This is not the best time to be a service chief in Nigeria. I feel for the service chiefs. I don't envy them. There are lots of problems making the security situation get worse by the day. Well, let's look at a few of them. Number one, the security administrators are yet to understand what is going on in Nigeria. The tragedy of the situation is that they are in denial of the true picture of the security situation in the country. Some say it is communal clash, farmers-herders clash, land disputes, reprisal attacks, Boko Haram terrorists, ISWAP, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, terrorists, insurgents, and herdsmen. Today, it is Fulani militias from outside Nigeria, armed bandits from outside Nigeria, kidnappers and foreign fighters from Libya. Recently, we were told that those killing Nigerians are now drug peddlers and unknown gunmen. Some say Boko Haram has been defeated, their leadership wiped out. Boko Haram is holding no territories. Some say, out of ignorance, that the security situation in Nigeria is exaggerated. How can a nation be in denial of killing of her citizens and the occupation of her territory? How can a nation not know whom they are fighting? This is the tragedy of the Nigerian situation. The security administrators cannot identify those killing Nigerians. Is this deliberate or a display of ignorance? Listen, Nigerians. The truth of the matter is that Nigeria is under invasion. The invasion has been handed over to proxy fighters that manifest as terrorists, kidnappers, armed bandits, Fulani militias, militants, cultists, and armed robbers. They are here to kill Nigerians, occupy and control territories. Just very simple. That is what any invading force will do. Kill your citizens, destroy your infrastructure, and occupy your territory. So, why are you calling them common criminals and drug peddlers? These are the same type of proxy fighters that destroyed Libya, destroyed Syria and Iraq. They were brought from outside Libya, from outside Syria, from outside Iraq. We had earlier warned security administrators across Africa about what was going on. Check out our previous videos on Security Africa. I'll put the link down below for you to listen to them again. What is going on now in Nigeria is designed to disintegrate the Nigerian state, or at least weaken it to the extent that it becomes another Yugoslavia or Libya. In the process, Nigerians will be forced to kill each other. That is the design. And Nigerians are fully cooperating with this plan. Those who designed this warfare designed it to look like ethnic warfare, religious warfare, high-level criminality, political violence, revenge killing, or communal clashes. It is not. It is none of these. Rather, it is a cocktail of warfare blended together to manifest different things in different locations in Nigeria. For instance, in the Northwest, it manifested as cattle rustling, armed banditry, and kidnapping. In the Northeast, it manifested as jihad, terrorism, kidnapping, and insurgency. In the North Central, it manifested as ethnic warfare, reprisal killings, herdsmen killing, farmers-herders clash, and kidnapping. In the South-South, it manifested as militancy, piracy, cultism, hired assassinations, and destruction of national critical infrastructure. In the Southeast, it manifested as kidnapping, herdsmen killing, and armed robbery. While in the Southwest, it manifested as kidnapping, herdsmen killing, cultism, gang warfare, and armed robbery, just to mention a few. All these threat agents collectively are making Nigeria ungovernable. Does it not surprise you that able-bodied men stay in the forest with guns, motorcycles, gun trucks, and large quantity of ammunition? How did the armed bandits have large number of motorcycles when the Nigerian state is struggling to equip its security agencies? How did they have access to sophisticated weapons when the Nigerian state is finding it difficult to purchase weapons for the armed forces? Please don't be confused. These people are not drug peddlers. They are not unknown gunmen or ordinary criminals. They are the combatants of the 21st century warfare in Africa. What you're experiencing is just one warfare designed to manifest different components. It is just one warfare known as the 21st century warfare in Africa. Be informed that the 21st century warfare in Africa was not designed for the traditional armed forces, the traditional police force, or the intelligence agencies. The national security structures of Nigeria has become obsolete and outdated to deal with the current security problems facing the country. And this is not only peculiar to Nigeria, but across the whole of Africa. This type of warfare was designed way back in the 50s and made public in 1962. It was designed as a cocktail of warfare, covered by layers and layers of deception and fought through proxy forces. So, security administrators be preferring solutions to different manifestations of the same warfare to no avail. Have you discovered that the best brains in national security in this country have spoken and proffered solutions for over 10 years now without any solution? Rather, the situation is getting worse. Nigerians, you need to wake up. Your country is under invasion and you are being manipulated and pushed towards a civil war, a bloodbath, genocide, destruction and eventual disintegration of Nigeria. God forbid. Number two, the problem is that the Nigerian state is fighting the fourth component of the cocktail quartet. Those who understand guerrilla warfare or insurgency operations know that there are four components that typically gives rise to this type of security situation. I may not mention the first three, but the last quartet is the foot soldiers. The foot soldiers are the terrorists, the insurgents, the kidnappers, the armed bandits, the armed robbers, the ethnic militias, the cattle rustlers, the armed robbers, mention them. They are armed. They kill. They occupy territories. They are not common criminals. They are combatants of the 21st century warfare in Africa. If you are of the old school in security administration, they are regarded as criminals or misguided individuals that need a second chance when they themselves did not give their victims a second chance. They were created by somebody. Somebody owns them. The motorcycles they ride, the guns they carry, the food they eat, their logistics, their funds, administration and training were being done by somebody. Somebody kept them wherever they are in this country. They are not in Nigeria by accident. They are here on a mission. Somebody coordinates their actions, shows them the targets to attack, they route into the place and out of the place. They did not fall from the sky. If you keep fighting the foot soldiers, it will amount to time and resource wasting. Some Nigerians want to wish it away, pray it away, bribe, pay ransom, appease, or grant amnesty. I am sorry. All these are manifestations of weakness and strengthening the invaders. So sacking the service chiefs will never solve the security situation, but rather understanding who we are fighting is the main problem. Number three, the next big issue is the rate of indiscipline within the security agencies. The rate of indiscipline within the security agencies is unprecedented in the history of this country. No nation can be defended by undisciplined security forces. Can you imagine where a soldier broke traditions and code of discipline, cocked his weapon, and killed his commander? Can you imagine where soldiers will fire at their GOC, or start shooting in the air randomly for what? For being redeployed in the war front. Can you imagine where soldiers will arrest their GOC, arrest their general, and manhandle him physically? The one that broke my heart was when a Lance Corporal wore his combat uniform, seized the airwaves and started addressing the Nigerian nation. Fellow Nigerians, I was shocked to my boots. The Lance Corporal said that his service chief was a traitor and disloyal to the nation. Unbelievable. And some Nigerians hailed him as a hero. He was addressing the whole world, insulting his country, insulting his commanders and the president of his country. I thought that the indiscipline was confined to the army alone until I saw a sailor in combat dress seizing the airwaves and started addressing the National Assembly. This type of indiscipline cannot be tolerated even by Boko Haram, even by armed bandits, or even the university confraternities cannot tolerate a member going public to denounce the organization or the leadership of the organization. You know the consequences, but this is happening within the Nigerian security agencies. This indiscipline is not possible in the Nigerian armed forces of the 70s, 80s, or the 90s. It can only happen within the Millennium Soldiers. Servicemen are now into armed robbery, extortion, and collusion with criminals just to betray their nation. When law-abiding citizens report crime or injustice to the security forces, it is most likely that such cases are not investigated properly unless you pay some money to the persons investigating the cases. And that is what is going on. Just have a look at this. If this is true, this tells the whole story. You must pay money for the paper, pay money for the biro, and money for typing your own document. This happens 24/7 across the nation. So tell me how Nigeria can be safe. No nation will be safe in the hands of unpatriotic servicemen who extort their citizens. Mercenaries do not defend nations. They fight for their money. They fight for the highest bidders. This is the sad story of Nigeria. The service chiefs cannot do much because the majority of the servicemen were brought in by politicians, monarchs, clerics, and influential figures in the society. Their loyalty is not to the nation, but to the person that gave their names for recruitment. So, the service chiefs are handicapped to do their jobs effectively. It is very difficult to enforce service discipline and ethics within the security agencies because of interferences by politicians and lawyers. Can any nation survive with this level of interference and gross indiscipline? Why are the politicians demanding for the sack of the service chiefs? Instead, let them ask the service chiefs to sack the unruly servicemen. What do you expect when you send the list of unwilling persons for recruitment and turn around to start shouting insecurity? Please stop interfering in the running of the armed forces and the police force. This was not the armed forces Nigeria took to ECOMOG or the one that confronted Maitasine. This one is a civilized security force that can only technically defeat the enemies of Nigeria. Today, the enemies of Nigerian state can no longer be defeated, but can only be degraded. That is the tragedy of the security situation. You cannot plant beans and harvest corn. What you plant is what you get. From 1999 onwards, you politicians ensured that the armed forces was civilized, castrated, infiltrated, and weakened. If you cannot allow the service chiefs to do their thorough recruitment of enthusiastic and willing Nigerians ready to serve their nation, why call for their sack? Why complain of increased insecurity? Number 4, the fourth problem is that majority of servicemen have been infiltrated, compromised, and subverted. It is difficult for any nation to detect subversion. It is also harder for nations to survive subversion. I did not know the level of infiltration and compromise until I listened to Lance Corporal Martins Idakweni.
Good evening, fellow Nigerians. Today is 22 of June 2020. I am Lance Corporal Idakweni Martins, 2011 NA/66 of 8655. I'm from 8 Div Band, Sokoto, Nigerian Army. I laugh when I hear people say, you know, go wrong. Even some of my friends, they tried it for me. They feel pity for me. They say, Kai, they can contribute money for me so that they will fly me out of the country.
Did you hear that? When I saw this, I knew that this soldier had been infiltrated and compromised. By the way, can you ask, who are these his friends he was referring to? What did he tell them that made them feel pity for him? What did they discuss? He confessed that some people met with him and told him to run away from serving Nigeria, meaning that there are people within the country compromising our soldiers and telling them to abandon service. This is frightening. He also said that those people have agreed to contribute money to fly him out of the country so that he will go and enjoy himself. When I heard this, my heart sank. Nigerians, you are sleeping while your security structures are infiltrated and compromised. This is very serious. I started asking, how many other soldiers have been compromised? How many officers have been approached by these people? Where is the money for sponsoring deserters coming from? Which country will those compromised service personnel going to be resettled? This has confirmed that there are foreign agents that are subverting our fighting troops and telling them that Nigeria is not worth dying for. This infiltration and subversion need urgent attention and must be investigated. I was not surprised that weeks later, over 300 soldiers have left the war front and applied for voluntary retirement. This infiltration and compromise is not restricted to the army alone. It extends to the police and intelligence agencies as well. There are allegations that servicemen are involved in the kidnapping and banditry going on in this country. Similarly, there are allegations that servicemen also are sabotaging the war efforts to defeat Boko Haram. This is what happens when your security agencies are compromised. They will start working for other nations. For Nigeria to be destabilized eventually, the security agencies must be infiltrated and compromised in order to create the environment for disintegration of Nigeria and the emergence of warlords. God forbid. This will bring in foreign fighters like they did in Libya and in Syria, and set Nigeria to become another Yugoslavia, Libya, Iraq, or Syria. So, sacking the service chiefs cannot solve this problem. There are many other security problems working against the Nigerian state, but for now, let's make do with this. Lastly, Nigerians must understand that regime protection is very important in the survival of any nation. Drawing from his experience in 1985 and also the mistake made by President Jonathan in changing his service chiefs as demanded by politicians, President Buhari and his advisors will not repeat the mistakes of the past. It will be wise and prudent for him to keep his loyal service chiefs that have proven their loyalty. It is within the prerogative of the president to keep or not to keep them. Since he had decided to keep them for now, let's respect his decision. But this does not mean a support for insecurity or non-performance. Are there other things that can be done to improve the security situation in the country other than sacking the service chiefs? If there are, let's try these other options. So, those clamoring for the sack of the service chiefs should do it with caution before being suspected of sponsoring their own candidates. The Nigeria security situation can be sorted out through other means other than sacking the service chiefs. From the foregoing, you can see that the Nigeria security challenges are far beyond the sacking of the service chiefs. While agreeing that the security situation is getting worse, sacking the service chiefs cannot solve the problems or change the combat situation on the ground. Identifying and confronting the most urgent security challenges will greatly change the national security dynamics. What do you think? If you're happy with what you have heard, please give us thumbs up and press the subscribe button so that you can watch the next episode. Thank you for subscribing and see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.